it eats in its food whatever you're feeding it, and it produces in those foods, or accumulates those foods, and then you go and eat them, and then you eat that food. So that's like a middleman. So when you're looking at meat, fish, eggs, or dairy, they're just middleman. You're producing these animals, and then you're eating them. Produce the animal, they lay the egg, and then you eat the egg. And if you want to eat that way, you eat that way. I'm not up nights worrying about it, but you want to be healthy, right? If you want to be healthy, stay away from animal protein, meat, fish, eggs, and dairy. But you got to get your protein, and that's what so many people don't do. I know many people through the years. They become vegetarians, and all they do is they stop eating meat. Okay? Well, they're junk food vegetarians. They haven't stopped eating potato chips and Doritos and popcorn and candies and candy bars and ice cream. They're just kind of junk food vegetarians, and so they never really get healthy. And then now that they remove meat from their diet and they haven't replaced it with something else, you need to have, like I know a vegetarian, this guy eats eggs. I mean, he must eat 15, 20 eggs every day. But you don't need that. If you like eggs, my wife likes eggs. If you like eggs, you should eat eggs. But that's not me. I use spirulina and chlorella because I'm always trying to be as healthy as I can. That's how I can still run a 6-minute mile at my age. It's not a killer for me. It's not like I just do it once. I do this 5 times a week. I really go out, work really hard, 30 minutes, and then I'm done. And I feel great. I have no joint issues at all. None. Okay? I don't have this bad knee or anything like that. Now you can get injured, and thankfully I haven't been injured. But, other than that, I just don't, have these kind of issues that you would have for somebody in their 60s. Okay? And they always say you are what you eat. Really, you are what you can assimilate. That's the main thing. What can you assimilate these foods? And that's when we get into digestive enzymes. We're going to talk about that another time. But let me tell you something. You need to be able to break these foods down to their essential nutrients and then take those into the body. And that's how you're going to assimilate nutrients. You're going to assimilate the foods that your body needs and your body requires. I got to tell you, the average person, I eat about 1/3 of the average person, volume of food. You don't need to eat that much, believe me. We want to eat that much. And fat, you get too skinny. Fat is really not anything that is natural to the human body. Fat accumulates so that you can, in case you get into a starvation situation, you don't have food, that you can live off of fat for a certain period of time. But like I said, I go back. No evidence of chronic disease in the wild. That's how you know that chronic disease is not natural. We're the only species on the planet, the human species. We're the only species that get chronic disease. Cancer, arthritis, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, diabetes, you name it. Other than the animals that we domesticate. And we put them on a cooked food, puppy chow, processed food, cat chow diet, okay? And they end up with all the diseases that we have. Because that's not how animals were originally meant to live, okay? And I'll say it again, nobody has ever shot a deer and brought it back and found it full of any chronic disease. Cancer. Well, this one's got cancer. I got friends that are hunters here in Michigan, and none of them have ever reported any kind of chronic disease when they shot the deer. Not one. Buck or fawn or anything else, doe, you name it, it's just not there. Okay? You will not find chronic disease in the wild. All right? You'll find it in domesticated animals, on farm animals, if you put them on a processed food diet, but not animals in the wild. You will not find any evidence of that. So I know, for instance, me, and this is what you should be listening to very, very carefully. For me, I know that I'm not going to die of a disease. I'm going to die. I'm not looking to live forever, believe me. I don't want to do that. But I just don't have to worry about getting a disease. I wrote a book on cancer, and it's called The Cure in the Mirror. So that tells you exactly what you need to do to cure your body of any disease, including cancer. But this is at the heart of it. This is what I'm always taking of every single day of the chlorella and the spirulina. Again, incredible benefits. Detoxification. It eats in its food, whatever you're feeding it, and it produces in those foods, or accumulates those foods, and then you go and eat them, and then you eat that food. So that's like a middleman. So when you're looking at meat, fish, eggs, or dairy, they're just